What was your never interrupt an enemy moment? My new coworker, Brad, made it his mission to steal my biggest client from the moment he walked through the door. This guy was slick, tailored suits, polished shoes, the kind of laugh that made you want to check your wallet. Management adored him. He went to the same overpriced college as our VP and never missed an opportunity to bring it up. I'd spent 3 years building my relationship with Henderson Industries, a client that now made up 40% of my commission. Brad thought he could swoop in and fix what he called the underutilized revenue potential. Translation: he wanted my money. At first, it was subtle. He'd add himself to emails under the guise of helping out. Then he started scheduling meetings with my client without telling me. Worse, he'd forget to CC me on critical updates. When I confronted him, he'd flash his charming grin and say, "Relax, man, we're all on the same team." Right. One morning, I was grabbing coffee in the break room when I heard his voice coming from the adjacent conference room. Door cracked. Couldn't help but hear. "Just trust me, Mr. Henderson," he said. "You'll save at least 30% if you switch everything to me next month. The current setup's way overpriced." My blood boiled. Mr. Henderson had personally thanked me with a handwritten note last year for helping them through a brutal system migration. Now, Brad was trying to rip the whole thing out and replace it with a standard package. I almost stormed in. Almost, but I didn't, because I knew something Brad didn't. Henderson's whole operation ran on an ancient, hyper-custom legacy system that nobody else in our sector supported. I'd spent months adapting our software to work with their weird back end. Brad didn't know that. He was selling fantasy. I decided to let him. For the next 3 weeks, I documented everything. Every impossible promise. Every ridiculous deadline. I recorded one call where he straight up guaranteed a zero downtime transition. I quietly backed up all my custom code and documentation for Henderson's setup. Meanwhile, I focused on my other clients, making sure my numbers stayed strong. No complaints, just quiet work. Then came D-Day. Brad arranged a big formal meeting with management and Mr. Henderson to pitch his takeover. He had a slick PowerPoint, all the buzzwords: optimization, cost savings, scalability. I sat there like a statue, arms crossed, letting him spin his gold-plated nonsense. When he finished, Mr. Henderson leaned forward and said, "This all sounds great, Brad, but tell me, how exactly are you planning to maintain our legacy system integration?" Brad blinked. "Oh, that's all standard now. No issue." "Excellent," Henderson said, smiling. "Because I've brought our tech director today. Maybe you can walk him through some of the code?" Brad's face went white. He stumbled through a few lines of buzzword salad, API endpoints, modular data stacks, cloud-side parity, none of which meant anything in context. The tech director didn't even bother to hide his confusion. That's when I slid a folder across the table. "I anticipated some technical questions," I said. "Here's a full rundown of our current integration environment, support schedule, and performance metrics." Mr. Henderson didn't even blink. He took the folder, glanced through it, then turned to Brad. "We'll be staying with James. In fact, I'd like to expand our contract, add our 2 subsidiaries as well." Brad didn't say a word. By the end of the week, he'd been reassigned to handling small regional accounts. No more handshakes with CEOs, no more boardroom swagger, just local distributors and overdue invoices. And I never said a word to management. I let him fall on his own sword.